Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming back to listen to my story, more of my story. And if you didn't run away crying and hiding under a pillow, I want to thank you for coming back. This is hard for me to share, and I struggle with sharing. But I'm glad that I'm doing it. I'm getting a lot off my chest, and a lot of people are learning from my experience. And a lot of people want to start to share with me their story. So I want to make an announcement that I'm going to be doing lives every Thursday evenings at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come. And I don't care if it's 3 people in the room, we're going to share our stories, whether it's a narcissistic abuse survival story or whether it's a codependency recovery story. So thank you guys for just being so supportive and being understanding as I go through my own journey. Even though I'm coaching in this field, it can still be hard to share that journey with you. So where did I leave off? Okay, so I left, right? And I started to get myself back together. I had such a great support system now. I have my mother. I'm living with my mother and we're enjoying each other. We're getting back to those old memories. We're spending a lot of time together. I'm enjoying my siblings. We're all older now. My siblings are having children of their own. I'm sharing my children with their children. And it just became this big, huge house with a bunch of children, and we're watching the children play in the yard. I had a great job that I landed right before I left that relationship, and that job was very supportive. And I also restored my relationship with my father, who have now at this point been sober for several years. And I'm going over to his house and I'm laying in his arms, and I'm getting that male support that I searched for. He's letting me know that he won't turn his back on me, that he's here to support me for everything that I needed. And I just felt awesome. And I thought everything was over, right? Well, it wasn't. No sooner than that happened, he was stalking me. He would tell me what I was wearing. He would give me a call and he would say, listen, I see you, you got on red pants, or you got on a black shirt, or I like that skirt you're wearing. And I mean, he could describe what I'm wearing down to a T, but I couldn't see him on any street that I'm on. And that would make me nervous because I would have to leave in the wee hours of the morning to travel into work, and then I would walk home in the evenings to after work. So I was kind of nervous about where he was seeing me from, and why was he watching me so long? Even in the city, I would travel from Queens into Midtown Manhattan, and he would tell me which street corner I am on in downtown Manhattan. Like, where was your life? I mean, he had a great job too. At this time he had worked for the state, and I'm working for the city. So where did he have the time to watch me? It just didn't make sense. And I would even go stay with my father because I felt a little safer. And I can recall a time he called me and he said that he's right downstairs from my father's apartment. And I mean, that's literally 45 minutes from where I lived. So now you watching me from my father's house, and my father, he snatched the phone and he said, listen, she's safe here. And, if you plan on coming up here and knocking on this door, you're going to be met with some hot metal. He hated that I had such a strong family support, the same family support that he worked tirelessly for years to destroy. He would also call me and make threats and say that, hey, I'm going to kill myself, to tap into that empathy part of me, hoping that I would feel sorry for him. And I just wasn't going to turn back. Next thing you know, I'm getting a knock on the door, and lo and behold, it was Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services, after, proving to everybody who know me and then some that I'm this doting mother. I mean, I breastfed these children from my own breast. I would get on the floor with them, play with them, hand paint with them. I had a daughter with special needs, and she needed so much attention. I got her all the things that she needed to grow and prosper. She's a fine child now, but that took hours and hours, tireless hours of teaching her things at a slow pace so that she can stay on track in school and stay in general, just doing the wonderful things she needs to do to keep up with her peers. Like, how could you say that I would even harm my children? And it worked. I mean, ACS was knocking on my door. They were going to the kids, going to their schools. It was horrible. They watched us. And what made it even worse was that, the kids were assigned a lawyer. Children are assigned with their own lawyers when there's a child custody battle. And because my oldest daughter at the time was old enough to speak for herself, the lawyer was assigned to all 3 children. And then, lo and behold, I started to find out that the child lawyer, was smitten with him because he was a very charming guy. And the ACS worker, the Child Protective Services worker, was also smitten with him. So he was working his magic among these 2 women. And I mean, they started to work with each other hand in hand to believe his story. There was no evidence that I put my hands on my children. My children never said that I put my hands on them. I mean, and still, because he was charming and he had nice clothes and jewelry, and he got their phone numbers, and he spent endless of hours speaking to them, which they wasn't supposed to do, victimizing himself in the relationship, saying it was all me and how woe is him, and I just walked out on him after putting him through so much. They believed it, and it actually worked in court. It worked in court. He ultimately got the children half a week, and I had the children half a week. And it didn't help much that I had a verbal explosion in the courtroom. I'm like, how dare you? How could this be happening? How could he be getting away with this when clearly over the course of the years that we've been together, there was plenty of times I had got him arrested or things of that nature, and that they just didn't use that evidence to support my claim. It was what it was. They seen a guy who now had a home to himself because I left that home, and had a great job with the state. That's all they seen. And he was charming, and he come in well dressed and with that phony smile. And I'm coming in there looking like I was straight out of a madhouse because I was going through so much distress at the possibility of losing my children and losing endless amount of sleep because ACS worker lady was like on my back more than she should have been necessarily doing. She checked up on me more than the average ACS worker would check on anybody. It was so crazy. So, they took my kids. They were gone. And I mean, he used this as an opportunity as well to try to get me back in the house. He would say, well, your daughter needs her hair done. Come over and do it. Or, I mean, I wouldn't fall for it, but then he'll say, your oldest daughter having a science assignment. I don't know anything about science. You're the science expert. Come here and help her with her science assignment. And I just didn't fall for it. Even though, trust me, it would always be an urge in me to do so. I mean, there were times I had my coat on, about to walk out the door just to do just that. And my family, my support, my mother was like, don't you see what he doing? Don't move. Don't go. So then I wouldn't go. And then then one day my mother, she made us, she gave me some very good advice. She said, you know what? Take that opportunity when the children are over there with him to turn off your phone. They'll be fine. They're with him. I mean, he's protecting them. Don't worry. You go do something for yourself. So the second the children are with him, you go ahead and you turn off your phone and you do something for yourself. I don't care if it's read a book for those 3 days, or go out with friends for those 3 days, or do something and restore your life. Do something that makes you happy. And I said, I'll give it a shot. Because I have to figure out now what it is that I like to do. I need to figure out what it is, where it is I want to go. I need to figure out who my friends are now because I lost so many people. So then my sister made a great observation. She said, you know what, this is what you probably would love to do. She said, over these years, you've been writing poetry in your book about all the pain that you went through and all the experiences that you had. Take your book, go to the local open mic club and recite your poetry. And she came home and she gave me a flyer one day, and it was like not too far from the house. And I'm like, I'll give it a shot, And I did. I went. And when I got there, I must have impressed everyone. I had a standing ovation the very first time I ever did a poem on stage. And I met a guy there. Yeah, I met a very interesting guy there. And I want y'all to put a little placeholder, because this guy's going to show up in another one of my stories, in the next story. So hold on to your horses for that one. So once my ex found out that I was, actively enjoying myself every single time I dropped the kids off with him, he got enraged. He got enraged. He couldn't reach me for those days that he didn't have them. I literally turned on the phone like an hour up till they were coming home, and that was just unacceptable for him. So eventually, I get a knock on the door, and I open it, and it was him, and the kids were standing on my front steps in front of the house, and their bags were tossed onto the grass, and he jumped in the car as soon as I opened the door, and he peeled rubber, and off he went. And I was just angry. My oldest daughter said he can't do it anymore. And then, he just, told them to pack their bags, and he said, go back to your mother. I'm not doing it. And she even said that, it was after he was trying to actively reach me, and I had my phone off. So, that was his way of pretty much getting back at me. So there I was. I couldn't wait to get up the following morning and throw that whole situation in the children's lawyer face. Like, you advocated for this man. You was smitten by him. You was actually going into court, trying to revise it to get for him to have the children full time, when she would go over there and go see him and the kids, and he would put on all these sweet fronts like he's doing a great job. And so she was trying to petition for the kids to be with him full time, and I get weekends or something like that. I was devastated, So now, I told her, I said, I'm bringing this up in court. This is happening because I'm going to revise the child custody hearing to where, he get less time with them and I get more. And I'm going to have to bring up the fact that you advocated for these children. She was scared, so she wasn't even scheduled to be at the next court hearing, but she made it her business to be there, and told the judge herself, because she was scared of what I would say about her. So she came there and said, I want to petition this. I want to petition the court to allow the mother to have the children full time and he get weekends. So that devastated him even more, because now, he had the kids. It didn't help him any at all, because now he realized I still was going to have a life of my own. In the court, he actually said, I don't want them. She can have custody. And they were like, you sure? And then the court was like, oh no, we're going to petition you. You're going to have you're going to have some kind of participation in these children's life. It's just what it is. So off we go. He had the kids on the weekends. I had the kids during the week. And over a little bit of time, and this is when my codependency starts shooting up, because let me tell you, time went on. He stopped stalking me. I found out he had a girlfriend. It was a young girl, very young girl. So I figured, okay, he's good now. At least I thought he was. But I'm like, he'll leave me alone. No more stalking. No more calling my phone. Everything was going off well. He had the children on the weekends. And then one day, when he had the children over the weekend, he called me and he was like, hey, I'm cooking dinner for the kids. We're having a good time. I'm not asking that you come and stay. I'm just asking that you come and enjoy dinner with us. And this was right around Christmas Eve, actually. It was the dead set of winter. And it was one of those Christmas holidays where the weekend fell in his lap. And even though I wanted the children with me, I was like, let me be a good sport, and, it's his time. Let him spend time with the children. So he said he got a Christmas tree up, and he got a little dinner going. And I said, you know what, I guess I should try it. At least the kids get to open their presents with all of us around. And the kids were really excited about that. So I went. And I can remember it was late in the evening, and we were talking, and, you know, he just started asking me random questions like, who are you sleeping with? You know, who are you having, you know, what are you doing when you do this? Where are you going when you go there? Like, just like an interrogation. And I was like, you know, this ain't gonna work. Like this, I see where this is going. So, you know, when I tried to leave, he put his hands on me, and then we were off fighting like we normally do. And, like usual. And I said, you know what? I can't take it anymore. And, you know, what really sparked something in me was when my daughter, my beautiful little daughter at the time, with the one with the special needs, but with the very special, you know, care in her heart, with that empathy, she looked at me and she, you know, looked in my eyes and she said, Mommy, go and don't come back. Don't come back. And I did. I left and I never showed back. I never went back to his house. He couldn't pay me to go back over there. There was not a stunt he could pull. He pulled a lot of stunts. There have been plenty of times he tried to coerce me into his car, or pull me into his car physically. There's other stories, which I would like to share with you guys one day. Like I said, I'm going to be doing live every Thursday evening, 8 p.m. to fill in a lot of blanks. I'm sure people have a lot of questions, but when you think about a 15-year relationship, the stories can almost seem endless. So I'm trying to bring it as close together as possible. So that was that part. Now, remember I said something about a very special guy? Y'all might want to tune into the next part.